Okay, so I need to talk about something that has been living rent-free in my brain since the God Valley flashback dropped, and it is this. Imu did not flinch, not once. Roger, Kaido, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Garp, and Rox D's Zebek simultaneously, and this man is still standing on Elbaf right now, flicking little black fireballs at Zoro. So today, I want to really, truly dig into what that means for the endgame, because I think people are sleeping on the actual scale of what Oda just showed us. And I need to wake you up. Let me cover Imu's showings, what they tell us about his ceiling, the God Valley pylon, and most importantly, is there actually a path for Luffy here? Or are we cooked? But first, a quick word about the run Imu is on right now, because I think it matters more than people realize. The benchmark has been obliterated. Let me put this plainly. The God Valley flashback did not just recontextualize Imu, it nuked the power scaling conversation for the entire series. Because we are not talking about one of those moments where a strong character looks tough against mid-tiers. We are talking about Roger, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Garp, and Rox simultaneously attacking on this guy. And now, Imu is showed up to Elbaf and started bullying Sanji with a kick. This isn't Enel being untouchable because Luffy lucked into a countered ability. This isn't Crocodile being smart about his Logia. This is a demonstration that there is a tier above the concept of top tier, and Imu lives there alone. Oda is being very deliberate about this. Every straw hat, every giant, every power-up we've celebrated, it all looks like a warm-up act right now. And I think that's actually great storytelling, because for a while I was genuinely a little worried that Gear 5 had broken the ceiling so thoroughly that nothing could feel threatening anymore. Turns out Oda was just saving Satan the whole time. And I mean that literally, but we'll get back to that. So let's actually talk about what happened in God Valley, because the details matter a lot here. 6 of the strongest characters in the history of the One Piece world, not random marines, not fodder, not second stringers, went at Imu at what we can safely assume was, or near their peak. And the result wasn't a close call. Imu wasn't shown breathing heavy, limping away, or struggling. The framing suggests this was manageable for him, an inconvenience at worst. Now here's what I find genuinely fascinating about that. All 6 of those characters have something in common beyond raw strength. They all have massive haki, Conqueror's haki, specifically. Roger, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Kaido, these are all confirmed Conqueror's users. Garp is the strongest marine to have ever lived. Rox was apparently so dangerous that Roger and Garp had to team up to put him down. This is not a random collection of strong people. This is basically the all-time roster of haki monsters in the series, and Imu tanked it, which means either Imu's defense and endurance just transcend anything we've seen, or there is something fundamentally different about how he takes damage. And I think it's both, honestly, because remember what we're watching him do in Elbaf right now. He's not exploding things recklessly. He's precise, controlled, minimal movement. He is fighting the way someone fights when they are genuinely unconcerned about anything the opponent could possibly do. The 6-on-1 at God Valley wasn't a scar on Imu's record. It was a test that everyone else failed. Is this even his real body? Because that changes everything. Here's where I want to introduce the idea that might be the most important piece of this whole puzzle. What if this is not Imu's original body? I know. Hear me out, because this reframes the power question entirely. We've been getting more and more evidence that Imu operates through some form of possession or vessel system. His confusion about Gunko's memories, his habit of calling people by old names tied to who they resemble rather than who they are, the fact that his presence feels distinctly different from the vessel haki explosions, all of this points to something weird happening with his consciousness and his body, which means whatever his true self is, we haven't even seen it. The thing currently flicking black fire at Sanji might not even be his endgame form. That is an absolutely unhinged thought, and I love it. The white hair, the spear, the rubber-adjacent movement properties, the flames, all of it lines up with what a corrupted or possessed body might look like. And if that's the case, the question of how do you beat Imu becomes much more interesting, because you might not be able to beat Imu the person. You might need to free the body, which would be a very Luffy thing to need to do. The Omen complicates everything. Now layer on top of all of this, Omen, the new dual-natured black flame that heals allies and absolutely erases enemies. And it's written with the kanji for Maki, demon spirit, which Scopper Gaben, who has been through God Valley himself, has never felt before. This is not a known quantity. This is something from a different category of power entirely. So to review what Luffy and company are actually up against, a being who survived 6 simultaneous attacks from the strongest people who ever lived, who is currently operating with minimum effort against multiple top tiers, who has access to a primordial power that a God Valley veteran has never encountered, and who may not even be fighting in his true form. The honest answer to how do you beat this guy right now is, you probably don't. Not alone, not with current power levels, not with any single person or any trick we've seen so far. So, What's actually the path here? And yet, Oda is going to give us a path. He always does. So let me speculate responsibly. The biggest thing that stands out to me is the dual nature of Omen. It heals and it destroys. Good Omen and bad Omen. That duality feels intentional in a way that goes beyond flavor. Imu has a healing power, a divine restorative ability, that feels like something that came from somewhere, something that was meant to be used a certain way, corrupted into something else. Luffy's Gear 5 is also a transformation into something ancient and divine, the Sun God, the warrior of liberation. And everything about Luffy's power is the opposite of Imu's in vibe. Chaotic, joyful, life-giving through laughter, rather than healing through halos. What if that's the actual matchup Oda is building toward? Not strength versus strength, but will versus will. Two ancient forces on opposite ends of the cosmic spectrum. I don't think Luffy wins this alone. I really don't. And I think the series is better for it. Imu should remain the top tier, even if he's eventually defeated. The goal isn't for Luffy to become Imu level in raw power. It's for Luffy to find the one angle, the one moment, the one coalition of allies that makes an impossible fight possible. Loki and his Nidhogg powers seem to mess with the abyss. Omen being infused observation haki could have a counter if someone's future sight is strong enough. There are paths. They are all very complicated, and Imu is going to make everyone look foolish before any of them become viable. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. God Valley told us Imu is the ceiling. Elbaf is telling us the Straw Hats are nowhere near it yet. Whatever the gap closer looks like, if you watched this much, like and subscribe for more. See you in another video.